right, so I've been getting some comments of people wanting to see how the actual operation of where the cow shit goes after we wash it out. So this is our washout bay, and it's at an incline, or at a decline I mean, so that trucks back in, and when we wash them out, all the shit and water drains out into the back of the bay. And that little switch right there, my dad has rigged up to where the guys can spray it from inside of the trailer, and we can pump out of the wash bay with this motor, and it comes around and it gets pumped into these boxes. And these are basically settling boxes. And when my dad designed them, he made them ever so slightly lower than the other, so that as the water flows down here, the heavy solids fall into the bottom box, and then, or the front box, and then the medium solids fall into the middle box, and then by the time it gets to this third box, it's all fine, silty, sludgy, and it sinks to the bottom. And it flows through this pipe right here, under the ground, and out into the holding pond over there. And then from that holding pond, there's another pump that pumps it past that well kind of out in the distance, and then goes up to the north side of our pastures where there's some terraces, and it flows out there and fertilizes and waters the grass, so that when we do have cows, they have something to eat out in that part of the pasture. And so our guys, once or twice a week, or any time that the washout is just kind of slow for the day, they'll use this pump to clean out these boxes, and they'll drain them all the way down and pump them into that anhydrous tank over there. And they use one of my dad's old pickups, and then take it out into the south side of the pastures over here, past these shit piles, and dump it on the south side of the pasture for the same reason, so the cows have food, something to eat when we do have them out here. So every day our guys use our skid loader over here. Sorry about the wind. They use the skid loader to clean out the pit, and they do this every day before they go home. Clean the pit out, get everything, well, as much as they can, get it all scraped out and taken over here to these piles, and they'll lay it out flat so it can dry. And then every so often they come out here with the skid loader and scrape it up and put it on top of the piles, and kind of like churn the piles around, so that everything has proper aeration, so that it can compost down and turn into manure that you would see in bags at Walmart. And then this amount that we have right now, if I remember correctly, is about 10 or 11 months, maybe a year's worth of cow shit that we've washed out of trailers. And we've got one pile right there, got a little small one right there. I think they're just now starting that one out. Big one right here, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 piles. And there's a farmer, a local farmer, that once or twice, well, every year he just stockpiles manure so that he can spread it on his fields, and he'll buy it from some of the local feed yards, and he'll come get it from us by loading it in semi trucks and then taking it out to his place, dumping it in piles on his place, and then he has his guys over the summer loaded up into giant manure spreaders pulled by a tractor, and he spreads it all over his fields, and it fertilizes his crops and helps his crops grow. And so we basically get it for free, because I mean, we're washing it out. And so it was either this or find some other way to get rid of it, and no other way to get rid of it is any fun. So it's not much of a big operation. We can only fit 2 trailers in the bay at a time, and they'll usually park kind of like right out here in front where I'm at, and you can see the tire tracks. There's a storm over there. I don't know if you can hear the thunder through the camera, but it's heard a little bit. But we can only fit 2 trucks in the bay at a time, so it's not like a huge operation. And everything was designed and built by my dad in like 2005 was the year we opened. He put this windbreak up himself. The little shack right there that says Washout on it, he built that, wired everything up. Those big tanks right there they used to be underground, like buried fuel tanks from an old gas station that he bought, and he stood them up, and those are our reservoir tanks. So we get the water from that well out there, and then there's another one out that way, and those wells were drilled by my great-grandpa in like the 30s or 40s when he first bought this place, because all of this used to be irrigated farmland, but back in like the 50s or 60s, maybe early 70s, a lot of the water wells out here started drying up, and so now everything in this whole area is all dryland farming. There's very few places in this area that still have enough water for irrigation, but if you go farther west, the wells out there still have more water and can irrigate corn and cotton and crops and all that stuff out there much easier than we can. But when he built this place, the only thing he had somebody else come and do was lay the concrete for the wash bay and the settling boxes, and he did all the designing. He built the frame and everything like that, or the molds, and all they did was come out and dump concrete in it. And other than that, he did everything himself. And he built everything back in 2005, and hell, we've been open 21 years now. But me, him, and the 2 guys that work for us, we put this new shack up a few months ago. I have videos of us putting it up, but on the channel, but nobody ever watched those. So we put this whole shack up. My mom bought this at an auction down in Midland, and it's like an old construction building, but we set it down and then built a frame around it and some windbreaks so that we could put this tent up, so that the little building doesn't get damaged by like rain or hail or wind or anything like that. And then our guys have a little windbreak where they can hang out and kind of get out of the shitty weather and everything like that. And this is our little washout shack. Turn the light on. So these are the pumps that we use to get water to the hoses. They're supposed to be submerged, like underground type pumps, but my dad, being ever the redneck that he is, thought it would be easier to have them above ground, so the pumps are actually in these metal sleeves, completely submerged in water. They, I can't remember if they get their water from up here or down at the bottom. I think they get it from the top. So they get fed their water from the top so that they stay submerged and they don't overheat and burn up and everything like that. But he used to have, I think, 3 or maybe 4 pumps, and that made the hoses just unmanageable. Like, horrendously hard to hold on to, because I mean, our pumps are already pushing water to the hoses at 180 psi at 40 gallons a minute. So the hoses are already tough to hold on to as it is. So 3 or 4 pumps makes it damn near unbearable if there's not another hose on. Because these hoses, or these pumps, feed all 4 hoses that are in the bay. So when you turn one on, you're getting full power. But if you turn on the other 2, like one more or all 4, the pressure per hose drops significantly. So with these 2 hoses, that's enough to where, even that's enough to where if one person has a hose on, you start begging for somebody to turn another hose on so you can drop the pressure and take a little bit of an ass whooping off yourself. So 3 or 4 pumps would just be horrendously unmanageable. But yeah, that's there's more thunder coming. So I should probably get out of here before whatever this storm is decides it wants to hit. But yeah, y'all have been wanting a little tour of the washout. So that's what it is. It's just a small little washout, not a huge fancy operation. We're just a bunch of dumb rednecks out here washing out cattle trailers. But all right, thanks for watching.